Well, good evening. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with me, Pastor Michelle. Today's Monday, November 30th, and let's start with our Disney story, and it comes to you from Fox and the Hound. Widow Tweed hummed cheerfully as she decorated her cottage. Todd, the little fox she had adopted not long before, watched with excitement. This was his first birthday in a new home. Now, Todd, who shall we invite to your party? Todd jumped on the windowsill and looked over at Amos Slade's farm. Then he jumped on the kindly woman's lap and gazed up at her with big sad eyes. Oh, Todd, stop looking at me like that. Well, all right, you can ask Copper over just this once. Later that afternoon, Todd invited Copper to the party. I'm not supposed to leave the yard, Copper explained. I'll get in trouble with my master. Don't worry, I've got it all figured out, Todd said. Then Todd headed over to Amos Slade's chicken yard. He ran among the birds, chasing them and causing them to flap their wings and cluck in panic. That was Copper's signal to bark as loudly as he could. Slade burst out of the cabin just in time to see Copper chasing Todd into the woods. Copper followed Todd all the way to Widow Tweed. Oh man, hold on. Copper followed Todd all the way to Widow Tweed's back door. Quick, scoot, she said, shooing the two into the cottage, while Amos Slade wandered around the woods trying to find Todd and Copper. The party festivities at Widow Tweed's were just beginning. The three played hide and seek, pinned the tail on the donkey, and freeze tag. Then it was time to cut the cake. As everyone had seconds, the widow spied Amos Slade coming out of the woods. She let Copper out the back door where he stood, barking ferociously. Good tracking, Copper, Slade cried. Did you chase that no-good fox all the way through the woods? Copper wagged his tail. Copper, what's that on your face? The hound turned his head and quickly licked the cake crumbs off his muzzle. Guess I must be seeing things. Let's go home then, boy. Inside the cozy cottage, Todd smiled. It had been a wonderful birthday, and sharing it with his best friend had definitely been the icing on the cake. So now I want cake. All right. Sorry, I had to bend down I'm charging my phone, and it came unplugged because of our dog. So let's hear our woman of the hour. Today it's Bessie Coleman, who was a pilot. So Bessie grew up in a small segregated town in Texas. At home with three younger siblings, she had a lot of responsibilities. Washing clothes by hand, fetching clean water, on top of walking 4 miles to school and back every day. Bessie knew that one day she would leave her town. In 1915, she moved to Chicago to live with her older brothers. Returning from World War I, they told her all about being in France and about how the women were there who could fly planes, unlike the women in America. This got Bessie curious, furiously curious. She applied to every aviation school in America she could find, but was denied entry. No one at any of these schools thought a girl could fly, especially not a black girl. Bessie wanted to prove them wrong. In 1920, she moved to France, where she could finally learn aviation. She was so gifted. She graduated from the 10-month flight school in only 7 months. So in 1921, Bessie became the first African-American woman in the world to receive her pilot's license. She specialized in stunt flying, parachuting, and aerial tricks. After returning home to the U.S., she flew for huge crowds. She was very popular among both black and white Americans and stood up against segregation and discrimination whenever she could. She hoped to open up her own flight school to teach other girls of color how to fly. Unfortunately, during a test flight in 1926, a mechanical issue caused her plane to crash. She passed away, but her legacy lives on. In 1977, the Bessie Coleman Aviators Club opened in Chicago to support women of all races to reach their dreams of flying. Man, she was very young. She was only 24 when she died. So that's, And one of her quotes, I made up my mind to try. I tried and I was successful. So that is an inspirational story. My friends, God bless you all. I hope you have a good day, a good evening, actually.